We're gonna do old fashions with a new twist on them. Old fashions like you've never seen them before. What's an old fashioned? Bourbon, rye? Not today. So today on How to Drink, we're making an old fashioned, but like in a different way. I've actually done another video on old fashioned, and I did 5 old fashions throughout the history, kind of charting the history of the drink. If you're interested in that, the video, the link is below in the pinned comment. But today, I am super duper proud to be partnered with Angostura Bitters. Angostura Bitters is the heart and soul of cocktails. They are a heritage that goes back to the 1800s. Brand from Trinidad, Trinidad and Tobago, secret family recipe of bitters. What's in it? I don't know. There's a little bit of a legend about why the label is too big. It's because one brother went and bought the bottles, the other brother went and bought the labels. And so they've stuck with it ever since. So today, since it's Old Fashioned week, we're gonna take a great look at old fashions in a new way. We're gonna do an old fashioned 3 ways today. We're going to do one with Pisco. We're going to do an old fashioned with rum. It's real possible other people make it this way. I kind of think of it as my rum old fashioned. It's the way that I frequently make a rum old fashioned. And we're gonna make an Oaxaca Old Fashioned. I hope I'm pronouncing it the right way. I have a friend here who seems to speak Spanish natively. Nico, how do I say Oaxaca? Oaxaca. Oh, with a W. He told me it's with a W, even though it's O-A-X. So we're gonna make a Oaxaca Old Fashioned. That's so helpful to know, by the way. So let's start out with a Pisco Old Fashioned. These are old fashions. We have our old fashioned ice cubes. They are a little bit big for the glass, so I'm just gonna shave these down. So I want to start this drink with 2 dashes of Angostura Orange Bitters. Now I need a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. Sometimes an old fashioned, will be measured like in bar spoons. I think that a bar spoon of simple syrup is a fine way to go here too, or maybe 2 bar spoons of simple syrup. Kind of depends on the size of your bar spoon, whether or not that's actually all that much different from a 1/4 ounce, to be honest. And now I want 2 ounces of Pisco. I'm like I said, a fan of Barspoon Pisco. They are for every bar under the sun. Now I'm going to give this drink a stir in its glass. And I'm actually visually, I can see the ingredients. There's an integration zone that's happening where for a minute there you can kind of see the syrup, the sugar, and the drink interacting. And that's kind of what I'm looking for here. We're gonna round the edges on that ice, add some dilution, some chilling, some melt. Not overdoing it. Now I wanna actually add basically a float of Angostura Bitters. This is how I would serve this drink. I'm going to dash 2, 4, 6 dashes of Angostura Bitters across the top of this. Kind of doesn't matter, it's up to the dealer's choice. Think of this as the spice in your dinner. Could you mix it in? Absolutely, but frankly, I love a float of Angostura Bitters on a number of drinks, and a clear spirit like this is a great opportunity to do that. We're gonna get a fantastic look. If the person drinking it so chooses to mix it in, that's upon them. You leave that to the imbiber, to the customer. I like the way that looks very much. I will garnish this with a twist of orange. Rub that around the top of the glass there, and just drop it in. It'll carry some of the Angostura Bitters down. And there we have my Pisco Old Fashioned. That is delightful. That is bright and citrusy and chocolatey in the most wonderful way. And then a current of kind of bitter, rooty, earthy, woodsy bite kind of carries me right out of that flavor profile. But up front, it's that orange and chocolate combo. That is, that's fantastic. What's that? There's like some kind of stone fruit or fig or something at the very, very end there. Almost ethereal. It's like in your sinuses, but not really. It might be the grapes from the Pisco. I'm in love with that drink. That is fantastic. I just want to pause here for just a moment to talk about what an old fashioned is. An old fashioned is maybe the cocktail, one of the first cocktails. It's usually a combination of bourbon and rye, although in its very earliest incarnation it may have been cognac or Genevieve. It is with of course Angostura bitters, and that's like from the very beginning. All old fashions from the dawn of time call for Angostura bitters. Anywhere you go in the world, if they know what they're doing and they make it old fashioned, it'll be made with Angostura bitters. What is really cool though is that the old fashioned is more of a format for a drink than a prescription. You don't need to use rye or bourbon. Obviously, that's what we're exploring here today. That's the whole idea, is that this is a format, a formula that you can plug a lot of ideas into. And in that theme, I want to share with you how I make a Rum Old Fashioned. We're gonna build this in the glass as well. Now, I'm borrowing here with this personal drink a little bit from the traditions of something called tea punch, which is a preparation of rum, cane syrup, and a tiny bit of lime. And when I say rum, I mean rum agricole from Martinique. I just liked the way they handled the citrus in that drink, and I kind of stole it. I need a lime and a knife. Typically, I find, you can increase or decrease the amount of lime you want in your drink. I like 3 slices of lime, each about 1/8 or 2/8 of an inch thick, like that. I drop those directly into the bottom of my glass. I'm gonna take a 1/4 ounce of Demerara simple syrup here. This could be more if you like, or less. It could be done with bar spoons. You could free pour it. Toss that in there. Now I want 2 dashes of Angostura aromatic bitters. I'm gonna take my muddler. And this is an exquisite muddler made by a fan of the show, Whitehead Sart. You can follow him on Instagram, Whitehead Sart. I think he's a fan of Sartre, the French existentialist, and his last name is Whitehead, if I'm not mistaken. He's a woodworker down in Florida. He looked at my muddler, said it looked like poop. He was right. And he made this out of, if I'm not mistaken, olive tree or walnut. It is gorgeous. Turned it out on a lathe to my specifications, covered it in a food-safe Caranuba wax. If you're interested in picking up one yourself, I encourage you to order it immediately. These are fantastic, and the heft of it in your hand, they're gonna be in demand. I'm telling you, all the cool bartenders are gonna have one very soon. Give it a little push. Now, what am I doing here? Well, I'm incorporating a little bit of citrus from these thin slices, and also the skins are in there, and they're gonna express some of that oil, just like that orange peel. We're not gonna do any other citrus in this drink. That's it, that's all the citrus. Next thing I wanna do is put my big old ice cube in here. And now I'm gonna pour 2 ounces of rum over the top of it.
I am using Smith & Cross rum here, as I frequently do, but I should mention that Angostura makes some excellent rums you could use, either the 1824 or 1919, but as it happens, I have just run out.
Can't speak for the people at the other side of the room, but I can tell you from my perspective, the room is now alive with the smells of Demerara and rum funk and lime, and to me, this is vacation in a glass, and makes me think of better places to be than New Jersey. But here it is, the Greg Rum Old Fashioned. Oh God, that is a delight. The way the citrus and sweetness and rum and bitters interplay, just in exquisite balance. I'm sorry, I'm very proud of this particular formulation of drink. It's like a s'more. It really does have a toasted marshmallow kind of characteristic. It's sweet with a little bit of smoke and fruitiness, just a little bit from the citrus and the rum funk in there. And of course, I don't know what magic is in a bottle of Angostura bitters, but that array of spices really just is amazing. So now I want to make a Oaxaca Old Fashioned. This is a variation on Old Fashioned that I think is pretty commonplace at this point. You'll find this on the menu at a lot of bars. And of course, build this one in the glass as well. It's a very risky grip coming over there. I could have easily lost grip on that and destroyed the glass. It would have been a disaster. I want to start with a bar spoon of agave nectar, which I have here. 2 dashes of Angostura aromatic bitters. A 1/2 ounce of mezcal. I am using Vida mezcal. And 1 1/2 ounces of reposado tequila. I'm using Casamigos Reposado. Okay, we're gonna stir that in the glass. I'm gonna put a twist of orange on top of this. I think a twist of lemon would be valid as well. I love the way orange and mezcal pair. But of course, this is your drink, so you should make it the way you like. Here's to you. This drink is absolutely heavenly. That is smoky and sweet in the most delightful way. You can really taste the agave. I mean, the blue agave that of course is harvested and fermented and distilled into tequila and mezcal is super present. The citrus does sort of vanish into it, the orange twist, but it softens the edges, right? That's the kind of part of how a cocktail, a drink works. It should be the sum of its parts, not the individual parts all kind of working alongside each other. What an evolution, too. It really takes some surprising turns there. The spices and the Angostura Bitters really come to the fore kind of late in the development of that flavor profile in the most surprising and enjoyable way. That's a sweet drink. It's something that you would want to spend some time sipping for sure. The longer that drink sits in my mouth and the longer the flavor has to develop, it really starts to take like on smoky flavors. It tastes a bit like my smoker barbecuing ribs, you know, like just like a box of like wood mesquite, like churning up smoke and stuff. That taste, it is so. Angostura is very proud of their transformative role in this cocktail, the Old Fashioned, and that is what Old Fashioned Week is all about, celebrating the Old Fashioned and really kind of roots cocktail history. So Angostura wants to invite everybody, cocktail experts and novices alike around the world, to take a crack at their own version of an Old Fashioned. Old Fashioned Week is going to be an enormous international party celebrated by 1,200 bars around the world, paying homage to the cocktail, the Old Fashioned. And if you want to know more, if you want to get in on the action, if you want to know what's going on, what's going down, hey, there is a link below in the pinned comment that you should definitely click right now to learn all about that information. And by right now, I mean after the video ends so that I get all of the retention numbers. Today, we looked at new twists on an Old Fashioned courtesy of Angostura Bitters, my friend, confidant, and soulmate, my partner in all things mixology. We looked at a Pisco Old Fashioned, my personal brand of Rum Old Fashioned. I'd love to know how everybody else makes them. And the Oaxaca Old Fashioned, 3 phenomenal ways to enjoy an Old Fashioned, and all of which require Angostura Bitters. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, please subscribe. If you're gonna bother to subscribe, why don't you go the extra mile and join the Ding Dong Gang? Ring a ding dang gong. I'm on Twitter at How to Drink, I'm on Instagram at How to Drink, and I'm on Patreon at patreon.com/howtodrink. Oh my God, that is so my speed. I love all these drinks, but this one is mine. Cheers, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful Old Fashioned week.